Were you adamant that the Dodgers needed a big bat and an elite closer before the trade deadline? Then Monday night handed you a custom-made I told you so on a silver platter.
You are Locked On Dodgers, your daily Los Angeles Dodgers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It's time for Locked On Dodgers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And unfortunately, our team almost every day finds itself needing to put our offense on a milk carton more often than not. Monday's game backed up everyone who said the Dodgers didn't do enough before the trade deadline. And is it time to make some drastic changes for the boys in blue? We're talking all about it in today's episode, which is brought to you by 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. Go to 5hourenergy.com today and use my promo code LOCKEDONGOLF to receive 20% off your order. Only valid through September 30th. Order transfusion-flavored 5-Hour Energy shots today. He's Travis Rogers. I'm Harry Ruiz. Two guys who talk sports for a living and bleed Dodger blue for life. If you're an early bird listener of our show, you can get more Travis on 710 ESPN LA or the ESPN LA app from 9 to noon with the Travis and DeMarco show. As for me, I'm the Spanish play-by-play broadcaster for the Las Vegas Raiders and USC football, but nothing beats jumping on the mic every weekday morning and diving deep into what I love most, talking Dodger baseball with you. Another frustrating night for Dodgers fans who saw their bats produce a grand total of 3 hits and 2 walks. 5 base runners total at home, and when LA had runners in scoring position, no bueno. 0 for 4. We needed the arms to get healthy from the pitching staff. That finally happened. But now that the bats are there, they have disappeared. Travis, what's going on with the batters in the box being so inconsistent? Or, well, they're being consistent and not being good.
Right. Yeah. The consistent is the problem. It's consistently not showing up at the ballpark. And like you said, Harry, this is not just, if the Dodgers came off of a long trip and they had a bad night against a pretty good pitcher in Sonny Gray, and they only had 3 hits and they, couldn't scrape together more than a couple of runs, you'd say, whatever. It's, it's one of those nights, but that's not what's going on. What's going on is consistently them throwing up zeros after zero after zero when they're up to bat. And, what was it? It was 18 innings in a row in Tampa where they didn't score a run. They come back to Dodger Stadium. Freddie hits one. But other than the home run, just really no threats to speak of at all until the 8th inning, and then a little bit of something there in the 9th. But it's not just 1 or 2 of these guys. It feels like it's 6 or 7 of these guys that you go back to the beginning of the season. It felt like everybody was contributing to what was happening, that Ohtani was doing what he was doing. Mookie was having the one patch of the season where he was pretty good. Freddie was off to a good start. Will Smith, you couldn't get him out. Tommy Edman was hitting home runs. Andy Pages was off to a really good start. And it felt like even if one guy might have a night where he wasn't quite on, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or even 6 of the other guys would have a night where they were getting hits and runs were coming in. Well, it's flipped back the other way where only 1 or 2 guys are doing it. It's frustrating. It's hard to put your finger on exactly why it's happening, but it does feel like guys are pressing in a way that is really unusual. That I think one of the great strengths of the Dodgers over the last several seasons is their ability to grind pitchers down, and not just the pitcher of the night, but grind staffs down, to grind down to where all of a sudden, Sonny Gray's not pitching 7 innings against a Dodger team that's doing what they typically do. He might pitch 5 and he may only give up a couple of hits. He might not give up a bunch of runs, but they're going to make him throw 100, 105 pitches. And now you're into the next guy and you grind him down, and then you grind the next guy down. And by the time you get into that second and third game of a series, guys are spent, and that's when Dodger guys can get fat offensively. They're swinging early in counts. They're not seeing as many pitches as they typically do. They're striking out a ton. They're not walking the way that they typically do. And I think it's a function of a lot of things, but the overarching theme is I think they're pressing. I think everybody wants to be the guy to break out of it, to be the guy that, hits the big home run, have the big double, and be the guy that says, okay, we're back. And they're just gripping the bat a little bit too tightly. And collectively as a team, I'm not like permanently worried about this. They have too many good players for them not to hit, but this has been a really bad patch where they can't get anything going offensively. Freddie has been good, but other than Freddie, nobody has been, where you would expect them to be.
And Sonny Gray is a good pitcher. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. He entered yesterday's game 12th with the most strikeouts in the National League. But for him to mow down the Dodgers lineup the way he did, 7 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts, he's not Paul Skeens. He's not one of those brand new pitchers that he's like, all right, he's a new kid on the block. He is how much did we hear Sonny Gray's name? Like, oh, he might be a trade deadline guy that somebody wants to go after. We didn't hear that much. And you look at the Dodgers, Freddie Freeman, solo home run in the 4th inning. He tied the game. Okay, we're getting close. And then nothing until the 8th when you were already down 2-1 and you got Teoscar Hernandez, which was a pleasant surprise, which we all got happy for. He hit the double and he got pinch run for, which, by the way, if it weren't for Esteury Ruiz, the Dodgers would have gone into the 9th inning trailing because it was 2 ground outs by Michael Conforto and Andy Pages that got him home. And it was okay, 2-2. We got a chance. We got the top of the order coming in the 9th, and they come in with a 3-2 deficit. Shohei starts things off with a single where it's like, okay, this is a night. And something super cool, the fans at Dodger Stadium, I saw movement on social media. Dave Vassay from the Dodgers, one of the Dodgers reporters, he brought up on social, hey, it would be cool if we give Mookie that moment like Trey Turner got in Philadelphia that boosted him. There's even like a 30 for 30 out there about Philadelphia fans supporting Trey and turning around his season recently. And the Dodgers fans, they got on their feet. They got the Let's Go Mookie chant. They were all cheering for him. He went 0 for 4 yesterday. The last one was really, really unfortunate because it was a pop to right field, and it was a great catch out over there by Nootbaar. And if it had gotten down, it could have been a completely different story. We could be talking about a different game, but the reality is the Dodgers got a couple of runners on base, but weren't able to get nothing going the whole night. And it's just worrying for me. It's like a good team doesn't have a stretch like this. And maybe for the Rockies, for the Marlins, not the Marlins anymore because they started playing good. But the Rockies, the A's, they don't have these 5-5 in a 10-game stretch is good for them. For the Dodgers, 500 baseball is terrible, isn't good. And the Cardinals are a decent team. They were like between the line of, are we selling? Are we not selling? Are we going to stay in it? Are we not going to stay in it? And they kind of stayed somewhere in the middle. And man, just seeing the way that the Dodgers played, it's just frustrating baseball, and something needs to happen.
Yeah, they're not catching that little break that you'd like to see them catch. That, excuse me, it seems like a good team always catches that big break. A good team will create its own breaks. Nootbaar makes an amazing catch on the right field line. Credit to him. Go Trojans. He was, he did a good job right there. But that is a ball that, okay, it didn't happen for you. There's a lot going on in that 9th inning that I want to kind of go through because I think that they're, like you talked about, Teoscar gets the double. They put Ruiz in to pinch run. And because, Ruiz can run a little bit, puts a little bit of pressure on the defense. Both Conforto and Pages made very productive outs. And I think this is one of the things that I would like to see of this team moving forward, that, they put the ball in play. They move a runner over. They bring the infield in. Pages hits the ball hard enough to create a difficult chance for the second baseman, who knocks it down, but it doesn't have time to get Ruiz out at the plate. So they tie the game there. They score a run the ball doesn't leave the infield. This is what they need to do a little more productive outs, which brings me to the 9th inning. Yeah, sure. Nootbaar made that catch, and it was a great catch, but I was a little surprised that we didn't see Ohtani try to steal second base, because it would have opened up a lot of things. It would have opened up an opportunity for Mookie to tie the game with a base hit, because I think they pitched to Mookie at that point. It allows Mookie to get maybe a pitch or two that might be a little more middle of the plate to do some damage with than he might have otherwise, because all of a sudden Ohtani there, you're not going to walk Mookie. He would be the go-ahead run. You're not going to walk Mookie with Freddie coming up. Freddie's the one guy who'd squared up a baseball all night, and they didn't do it. And even without a steal, I get that he's Mookie Betts. I get that you don't want to do something drastic, but why not put a bunt there? And even if you put a bunt there and you move him over to second base and they walk Freeman, that's fine too. Now all of a sudden you have the go-ahead, the winning run at first base, and you've got Will Smith and Max Muncy coming up. I like my chances there. They just kind of sat around waiting for something to happen. I didn't love that. I know that the Dodgers don't do a lot of sacrifices. I know baseball math dorks. I know, oh, you don't want to bunt. I get it. Sometimes you got to do a thing that's going to be a little bit out of the norm to try to get some things going, to try to score one run. I understand that it goes against you don't want to give away outs, but they're in a different part of the situation right there. So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on that they didn't do. They're just kind of waiting for everybody to snap out of their slump. And sometimes you need to force the issue. Try to steal a base, lay down a bunt, get the hand off the baton to the next guy. I always think of Justin Turner in situations like this because he used to talk about it all the time. It doesn't have to be me. I just have to get on base. I can pass the baton to the next guy. The next guy will do the job. And it felt like last night, and Mookie's in a deep, dark hole right now, and he's fighting it like crazy. And that I know we're going to talk about that coming up later in the pod. But he's pushing really hard. But let's try to find a way to unlock these guys in a non-traditional way, that you're not just sitting around waiting for 2-run home runs. Let's play a little bit differently. Let's play a little bit for a run here and there, and we can go back to the other way another time, because they just need to get unlocked. And I think a lot of this stuff will start to flow again.
Yeah, what's wrong with small ball? What's wrong with manufacturing runs, especially when you only have one hit going into the 8th inning?
Yeah, and
what's wrong with that?
Nothing to me. If Mookie Betts were Mookie Betts and Mookie Betts were hitting 300 and driving the ball all over the ballpark, of course you're not going to bunt with Mookie. Of course you're not. He's batting 230. He's not driving the ball. He's not doing the things that you would expect from Mookie Betts. So let's let him help the team in a different way. And instead they just stood around and we saw what happened.
I mean, when you got less than 40 points between Mookie Betts, his 230 batting average, and Michael Conforto's 191, and we've been on Michael Conforto all season long, it's a troubling situation. But, it's so frustrating, man. And as a Dodger fan, it's something that you don't want to go through, but we're going through, and it's August 5th. The postseason is less than 2 months away.
Yeah.
We need to snap out of it.
I think they will, Harry. This is why I'm believe it or not, even though they lost the game and the 9th inning was frustrated, I'm generally positive about what happened last night and where this team is, because with Muncy back, you could see that lineup start to extend a little bit. As good as Glasnow was, and I know we're going to talk about him coming up in a bit, I think you're starting to see that pitching rotation take some shape, and they're in the deep end of the pool right now. They're not scoring runs. It doesn't look great, but I'm pretty optimistic about where they're going to be a month from now. I really, truly am.
Now, actually, next on Locked On Dodgers, Tyler Glasnow and Sonny Gray went mano-a-mano in a fantastic pitching duel at Chavez Ravine. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough for Los Angeles.
Summer sports are in full swing, and whether you are like me and Harry and you're about baseball under the lights, or maybe you like to watch a little golf or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel, of course, is the best way to make every game even more exciting. So you're already watching the games, you're already following the action. Why not make it a little bit more exciting, a little bit more thrilling? And with FanDuel, you can get in on the game while your friends are doing whatever it is they're doing over there. You're watching the game, you're having fun, you're going to make it to the entire next level. So FanDuel makes it super easy to track your favorite matchups. The app is always keeping it fresh with new daily promotions and fun ways to bet. Super easy to use, super fast to pay out. I like that. And makes even regular season games feel like something that you can't not miss. So you can place a same game parlay, or you can watch your bet ride deep into that 9th inning. FanDuel makes it feel like we are all a part of the action. And if you're new to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5 and you get $150 in bonus bets if that first bet wins. So open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started.
Don't forget to follow Locked On Dodgers, not only on YouTube, but on X, Instagram, and TikTok as well. You can find Travis on social media at Travis Rogers on X and Instagram. Meanwhile, I'm at Harry Ruiz on X, at Harry_Ruiz on Instagram, and at Harry Ruiz_ on TikTok. Let us know, on a scale from 1 to 10, how frustrated are you that the Dodgers couldn't take advantage of Tyler Glasnow's great pitching gem? 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 7 Ks. Travis, for the folks listening to us, what number? what number did you just put up?
6. It's above the middle, but not much above the middle. Because I can't make a decimal point with my hands, I would like to give it a 5.5 so we can round it up. I want to be just slightly over the middle of my concern level. Glasnow was terrific. Glasnow, since he's come back, Harry, has been either okay, which was once, or terrific, which has been every other time. So I thought he was brilliant last night. I thought he gave them exactly what they needed. He pitched deep into the game. He took a ton of pressure off the bullpen. He struck out a bunch of guys. He dominated when he needed to dominate, even after a little bit of a slow start, a little bit of a high pitch count early in the game. He did what great starting pitchers do, and that is, guys, I know we're not hitting. I'm going to keep us in this game anyway. I'm going to give us a chance to win, maybe with just a couple of runs, maybe with just 2 or 3 runs. We're going to find a way to win this game. Nothing but huge praise for Tyler Glasnow last night.
5th start since coming back from the IL. In 4 of them, he has allowed 1 run for the Dodgers. The Dodgers have lost 3 of those games.
And the losing sucks, and it's a drag that they're losing those games. It really is, but that's honestly not a huge concern of mine. They're going to hit. I really, truly believe they're going to hit. With Muncy back, I think that changes a lot. You saw he hit that ball in the 9th inning on the screws. He just had a little bit of a top spin on it, and he hit it right at Nootbaar in right field. That ball gets backspun just a little bit, or even 5 feet to the left or right. That ball's either down the line or in the gap, and the Dodgers tie the game. We see what happens. So I'm not worried about that. I really, truly believe that, I'm not saying that Mookie's going to be Mookie all of a sudden. He can't be this bad for an entire season. I think he's coming. Tommy Edman hopefully gets healthy. He goes on the IL and he comes back. Freddie Freeman is swinging like Freddie Freeman. There's no question. Shohei's in a little bit of a lull right now, but it's Shohei. Last night you saw it. 9th inning, he needs a hit. He gets a hit. He does what he does. So I'm optimistic that the offense will come around. What I was not as sure about was that the pitching was going to come around, and Glasnow has really changed my mind there. He was fantastic. If he pitches like that in the postseason, the Dodgers will win games. They will win a bunch of games with performances like that. You really could not have asked more from him. He's a very frustrating player, in my opinion, Harry, because he doesn't pitch enough. He doesn't take the ball frequently enough. He seems to be one of these pitchers, a more modern style of pitcher, that everything needs to be exactly right for him to perform at his best. But my goodness, is his best good. When he is locked in and good to go, he's borderline unhittable. He is borderline, automatic 1 or 2 runs through 6 or 7 innings. And I will take that every single time. I was terribly impressed by not only what he did last night, but like you just mentioned, what he has done since coming off the IL. He has been a 9 out of 10. He's been that good.
Yeah, and you want to go into the postseason with the 1A and 1B pitcher, and the Dodgers clearly have them right now with Tyler Glasnow and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. You can put either of them at pitching game 1, and you won't have nobody complaining about that guy being the game 1 pitcher in any postseason series. And then just to think about, Blake Snell would be pitching game 3, and yes, he let a couple of home runs out of the park over there in Tampa Bay, but little field, like Yankee Stadium. It's like, okay, let's see him start once again at Dodger Stadium this week, and then we can start judging or making a better judgment on that case. Add Clayton Kershaw, who looked fantastic this weekend. Add Shohei Ohtani. We feel great. The problem is that run support for him. I know we joke around all the time. When Yoshi pitches, he's not going to get no run support. Hopefully he gets a shutout. It used to be the Kershaw treatment back in the day when he was in his MVP days, when he was in his 3-time NL Cy Young days. Now, I mean, you can't be doing this with your top pitchers, but his stuff for a moment looked a little bit iffy early in the game, but then you go to the rest of the game and it's like, man, he was dominant. After allowing 2 hits with 1 out in the top of the second, nobody else got a hit off of him the rest of the night. He retired the last 11 men that he faced. That's not good. That's dominant. That is top of the line pitcher. That's the guy that you paid all that money for, that you have right there in the rotation.
This is why talent will always get a second chance, a third chance, a 10th chance, a 20th chance. That even as temperamental as his health is, even as unavailable as he has been, and this is not just a Dodger thing. This was a Pittsburgh thing. This was a Tampa thing. This is a Dodger thing. He is frequently unavailable, I should say. The fact of the matter is, teams, Brandon Gomes and Andrew Friedman and Dave Roberts and Mark Pryor and all these, like, yep, I'll take that guy, because when he goes, he is virtually unhittable. The offense will come. And I like what you said, that, in the postseason, if everything's perfect, you need 4 guys. They have 5. They really even have 6. Like, in a perfect world, if you were one of these other teams around baseball and you had to give Emmett Sheehan the baseball in the playoffs, you'd feel okay about that. Right? That's not a terrible option. Well, he's their 6th starting pitcher. There's a scenario, and maybe we can talk about this on a future episode of Locked On Dodgers. The everydayers will catch it. That does Clayton Kershaw even get the ball in the post? Like, if everyone else is healthy, does Clayton Kershaw get a start in the postseason? I'm not so sure that he does, because do you need a 5th guy? I don't think that you do. You need 4. And are you pitching Kershaw ahead of Glasnow? Not the Glasnow you saw last night. Certainly not pitching him ahead of Yamamoto. I don't think that you're pitching him ahead of Snell, assuming Snell is healthy. We're seeing how good he is. And you're not pitching him ahead of Ohtani. Like, so where is his spot on this team? The pitching is really coming together. At least the starting pitching is coming together. And Glasnow was just a perfect representation of it last night.
And we are pretty sure that by the time that the postseason rolls around, Ohtani's going to be stretched to 5 or 6 innings. So it's not like a situation where we're going to be talking about piggybacking like we have in the past. So I feel like Kershaw's best spot would be out of the bullpen, which I feel that he would have no issue with. And he would say, I'm down. I don't think you keep Kershaw, but like we said, we'll talk about it in a future episode. We talked about Glasnow, the bullpen. They were lights out. And the road trip, 31.2 innings pitched, 0.57 ERA, 2 earned runs in a 9-game span during 11 days on the road. Now they come back home. Banda gives up a solo home run in the 8th with 2 outs, 3 sliders in a 4-pitch span. You got to mix it up right there. And then Brock Stewart, who was the guy they brought in the trade deadline, 3 hits. And that was what killed him, but it was a lot of weak contact too, where it's like, it was nothing that was like, man, he got rocked.
I honestly, and this is why I'm fairly optimistic about where they were, despite losing the game last night. Banda threw a bad pitch that caught a lot of the plate, and the guy's a major league hitter, and he does what major league hitters do, and he hit it over the fence in center field, and he smoked it. But it wasn't like Banda looked bad. He threw a bad pitch, and the guy made him pay for it. It is a solo home run. You've heard me say this before. I can live with it. I thought Oral Hershiser made a great point on the broadcast last night, which was the pressure on relief. Like, if you throw that pitch in the 3rd inning, nobody even remembers it, right? It's a home run that happens, and you just keep moving. You have a couple more good innings after that. It's not a big deal. Out of the bullpen in the 8th inning, it's like, oh, we're behind, and we only got 6 outs left to play with. It feels much bigger than it was. I'm okay with Bondo's bad pitch, got hit, whatever, not the end of the world. You mentioned Brock Stewart. He pitched really well. Those balls just found, like, none of those balls were hit hard. It just that was the definition of just being unlucky. You run that inning back the exact same way tonight, and he's out of there easy peasy. The ball, wasn't hit hard. That's what I'm looking for. I was pretty optimistic with him. You saw Dreyer come in, 1 pitch, 1 out. He looked pretty good as well. But, I know they gave up a couple of runs, but I wasn't disappointed with what I saw. The pitches were good. The velocity was good. There was 1 hanger from Banda that got hit the way that it was. Again, not the end of the world, just bad timing of it all. So even though Stewart takes the loss, even though he gave up a couple of hits in the 9th inning, it did not it was not one of those, oh my God, this is the guy. It was almost like, oh, okay, this is the guy. This may be a guy that you can feel pretty good about because those pitches had great life. I think that he'll get a little better as he gets a little more familiar, a little more comfortable with the Dodgers. But all things being equal, I have no complaints about the pitching last night, even though they gave up a couple of runs in the 8th and the 9th.
Yeah, so we spoke about the hitters, we spoke about the batters. Now, coming up on Locked On Dodgers is Dave Roberts, just super committed to the idea that doing absolutely nothing with the lineup is the best way to fix a struggling offense. It's time to fuel up and turn it up with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. It brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink, minus the alcohol, into a quick, energizing shot. Whether you're sinking birdies or just making memories with friends, this one's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Let's be honest, some days on the course or off of it, you just need that extra boost to stay sharp and energized. My first time playing golf, I hit a birdie on the second hole without even knowing how to play. Then it went downhill from there, but man, a total fluke is one of my favorite memories playing the sport. Golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors, of course. The grape ginger lime flavor gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without having to chase down the bev cart. If you go to 5hourenergy.com today, that is the number 5hourenergy.com, you can use my promo code LOCKEDONGOLF to receive 20% off your order. This offer is only valid until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with other promotions. The code is not good on subscription orders. Whether you're meeting up with friends or trying to turn 18 holes into 36, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order transfusion-flavored 5-Hour Energy shots today. Thanks for making us your first listen wherever you may be tuning in, either on your favorite podcast app or our YouTube channel. Smash that notification bell so you never miss a beat. Full episodes, hot takes, breaking Dodgers news, and a Dodgers postcast show with Pete Fox live after the final out of every game. If it drops, you're on it. That's how you become an everydayer here on Locked On Dodgers. Like Alfonso Lucio, who suggested Mookie Betts should take a series off during yesterday's episode. That's an interesting take right there. Now, the question is, should Dave Roberts be more aggressive with lineup changes? We know that the team is analytics heavy. Well, what numbers are telling the people in the front office and coaching staff that this is the way to keep doing this, Travis?
Yeah, I think this may be a combination of a little bit of analytics and a lot of soft management skills. And I don't mean soft in a bad way. I mean soft in let's not be reactionary and let's make sure that we treat players that deserve to be treated with a long runway, that we give them what they need. Mookie Betts is walking straight into the Hall of Fame. Mookie Betts is one of the great players of his generation. Mookie Betts is a 2-time World Series player, a World Series champion here in Los Angeles, a 3-time World Series champion in his career. I don't know if sliding him all over the lineup is a great idea. I don't know if benching him just to kind of get his head squared away is a good idea. If he feels like he wants to go out there and play, he should go out there and play. He clearly is in a funk. He clearly is not playing the way that you would expect him to. But they tried juggling the order. They put him in 1. I don't know if sliding him down to 6 or 7 would really change anything. I don't know if that gets him different pitches. I think they're going to attack him the same way. I don't know if sitting him down clears his head. He's doing the work. I think you just keep running him out there and giving him at bats until it finally happens. I understand the impulse, but this isn't Little League baseball. This isn't where, you go a couple of games, you start dropping down the order. It's Mookie Betts. You're going to bat Mookie Betts 7th? I don't think so. I don't think it changes anything. I think if anything, if you're going to, here's me on my soapbox again, Harry. I'm rambling a little bit. Let me lock in.
Get it.
If there's one move left to make, in my opinion, with him, there is one thing that you are not sure if it will unlock him or not, but they're reluctant to do it for reasons that I don't know why. And that's putting him back in the outfield. Until we try that, I don't think that moving him to 1st or 4th or 8th is going to make much of a difference. I think it's the totality of all of this stuff. It's maybe the worst and longest slump of his career. It's a position change. It's the emotional stuff that he was going through with the loss of a family member. It's a lot of things that are going in there. But the last time, and by the way, this isn't just this season. He was struggling offensively last season as well until they put him back in the outfield towards the end of the season. He came back. He looked like Mookie Betts. The Dodgers looked a lot better. He was terrific in the postseason. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, here we go. That's the move they should make if they're going to make a move. I don't think the batting order does much. I don't think benching him for a series does much. I think putting him in right field, and I'm not saying for a weekend. I'm saying put him in right field for a month, maybe and just see if it doesn't get him going. And if it doesn't, then you have proof of concept. You say, look, this is not an outfield versus infield thing. This is a Mookie is struggling at the plate thing. It doesn't matter where he's playing defensively. But what if he goes back to the outfield and starts hitting again? Okay, that seems like a good problem to have to me. You got to find a shortstop, fine. But what makes him him is not that he can play short and not embarrass himself and hit 230. What makes him him is that he's going to drive the ball. He's a Gold Glove outfielder. He's going to hit home runs. He's going to hit doubles. He's going to get on base a lot, and he's not doing that. And if he's not swinging the bat like Mookie Betts, I don't care what he's doing at shortstop.
Yeah, and what's the worst thing that could happen if you send Mookie Betts to right field?
don't know.
He's already not hitting the way that Mookie Betts usually hits. So it's like, okay, you would replace Teoscar Hernandez over to left field to replace Michael Conforto, and you would lose Michael Conforto's bat, which has gotten way better, but the standard was really low from March through July. And then in July and August, what we have these couple of days, it's been better. It's not great. It's just been better because the bar was set so low. So I don't think it's that big of a risk. Yesterday, Dave Roberts, he was asked about moving down Mookie Betts in the lineups, and he said that with the way that the guys are swinging right now and the way that the lineup looks, he says there's no better alternative at the moment. He also said people are suggesting Will Smith, we mentioned it in yesterday's show, go up to bat second behind Shohei Ohtani. He says Will Smith doesn't play every day. You're trying to not mix and match the top of the order when the catcher plays 3 out of 4 games. So he said that's the kind of math that doesn't make logic for him to make that move in the top of the lineup. But here we go. This is what I wanted to say. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And here we are with the lineup pretty much the same night after night. And it seems like the Dodgers are capped at 5 runs per game. That's the max they're scoring the last week. You can't just be like a 5-run team and think that you're going to win more often than not. You had a good series against the Reds, a good series against the Rays, against the Red Sox. Iffy. If you had scored one more run or two in one of those losses, you win the game. You win 6 out of 3 in the road trip instead of 5 out of 9, and you feel better at the moment. If you score 5 last night against the Cardinals, you win that game as well. You just have to put yourself in better positions, and this team has been too home run dependent for a very long time, and we know that home run dependent teams in the postseason, they're going to struggle.
That's a dangerous game to play going into the postseason, just hoping to bang a bunch of home runs. That may be who they are. They might not have much choice in that matter. That you hope to get hot towards the end. I like criticizing the manager as much as the next guy. It's fun, and it's kind of the part of baseball that, well, I would have done this and I would have done that. The problem with it is I happen to agree with Dave Roberts in this situation. There aren't a ton of better options available to start moving guys around. That if you put Will Smith in that too, okay, fine. Well, now you've got a missing spot in that 3, 4, 5 range. Wherever he's coming from to move over there, you still have a miss somewhere in the middle of that order. It's not like Andy Pages or any of the, and I'm not picking on Pages specifically, but it's not like there's one guy that's just going to be able to carry the back end. This is why getting Muncy back is so important. I think everything kind of calms down if he can come back and swing the bat the way that he does. I think it helps Mookie. I think it helps Freddie. I think it helps Will Smith, Teoscar, all those guys. But if you just if everything stays the same, what difference does it make if we shuffle the order? If there was a guy that was smoking hot somewhere in 6, 7, 8, sure, flip-flop him, but there isn't. It just feels like, we're going to do the same result. We're just going to do it in a different order. That being said, I agree with what you said, which is at some point, changing it just to change it is not a bad idea. Just say, look, we've done this for 110 games, and more often than not, it hasn't given us the results that we'd like. So let's try something a little different. There's just enough runway to kind of tinker a little bit along the way. But I really do think I don't know if I want to call it an emotional component or a psychological component or a respect component, whatever you want. But dropping Mookie Betts way down in the batting order feels like your last move to make, because he's going to be here for a long time, and I don't know if you want to start doing that to him with the amount of time he's going to be here and getting into they disrespected me. And I think he'd handle it well. He's a pro, but a player like Mookie Betts all of a sudden being dropped out of the top of the order just dramatically like that I think there would be some ripples on the pond.
Yeah, that's something we have to see. I don't think it'll happen. We'll wait and see, but I don't think. By the way, you mentioned Max Muncy, 0 for 3 with the walk during Monday's game. I'm not worried. We saw him with OKC first 2 games back.
Hard too.
Yeah, he went over in his first 2 games with OKC, and then he absolutely killed it the next 2 games before coming back to the Major League Dodgers. Well, that'll do it for today's show from Travis and I. Thanks for making Locked On Dodgers your first listen. If you're still craving more baseball talk, have the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night be your second listen. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find it on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be back on Wednesday to talk about the Dodgers trying to level things up against the Cards with Emmett Sheehan on the mound. And if you find the Dodgers offense, please return them to 1000 Vince Scully Avenue. We appreciate you riding with us. Until next time, keep it real, keep it Dodger Blue.